Hey, what's up guys? Ian here. We are hanging out with Campin' Randy and the Passport, and I'm actually going to be making a quick installation video for the rock slides on the Passport. So it is going to be the side that has the felt shield, because there's no felt shield on the passenger side. So you don't have to worry about that on the passenger side. You're only going to have to deal with it on the driver's side. And I went ahead and marked it for you guys, and I'll show you how I did that in just a second. All right, so I commissioned Randy to work on his own truck right in front of the camera. He had no choice. And so anyway, so we're taking out 2 of the 10 millimeter felt bolts in the front, and then we did take the snaps out the side, and that's going to give you the opportunity to basically just pry it back enough to be able to mark where the mounts are going to be at. So you can mark there, and we marked the front as well down here. And we're going to go ahead and cut those back. We just got a nice pair of like shop scissors, essentially like a shear, and we're going to trim that back, and I'll show you guys I'll give you guys the measurements for how wide to cut and where we cut on here once we get that done. All right, so right here we went ahead, and when we took the push pins out of this, we were able to push this back to find where we were going to be bolting up the slider at, and went ahead and opted to just notch this here back on both sides, and then you can actually just flip it back in, and that way you don't have to cut it off, and you can have it for later. And then this will expose both of your mounting points for the mid arm, and then we're going to do the exact same thing on the front. All right guys, so this is the front arm, and was a little bit more liberal with cutting it back, because the arm has to go actually inside here to get to the other bolt. Let's see if I can get a flashlight on it. There you go. That threaded hole right there, we got to get back to that. So just to show you what this kind of looks like from afar, this is what we've worked up in here. So I'm going to go ahead and at this point probably throw in the measurement numbers pulled from the rear, because the rear is the spot that you can actually access, because there's no felt back here for that original mount. So I'll give you guys the numbers from there coming forward to the middle arm, and then to our frontmost mounting point. All right, so we did notch these, and in order to get to the frontmost bolt, we do have, there are these points out here. So there's 2 screws that go in here and here, and then there were push pins in there. And then in order to actually get this to access the bolt, you can just tuck the whole thing out of the way. It would be easier if you just removed it fully, but I'm fighting with my arm and the camera here at the moment, but not a lot of spaces. We don't have this thing off the ground, but there we go. It'll show you what you're working with. So fold that back, and that gives you access to that bolt there. And then I had to do the same thing with the middle arm back here. I had to fold it back, but the notch works out really good to bring everything back forward. It looks really good, and I'll show you guys what that is like here in just a second. There we go. Sorry, there's not a lot of space to work with under here, but there you go. So that's what this is going to look like once it's all said and done. You get the nice little cutouts in the felt, fit really well. And there'll be a screen probably somewhere in the video where I throw in the numbers. So yeah, I'm gonna get these bolted down and show you guys what they look like from the outside. All right guys, so here it is installed on the Passport. You've got good clearance sticking out here on the side. You've got the 1-inch wheel spacers on the Trail Sport, so you can kind of get a feel for where those are there. Open door, got to have the proverbial lots of room for your feet, so that's there. And then the way that we design these is there's actually an additional mount pad here contacting the rail fully, so that way you can spread the load out when you actually use these off-road They are DLM tubes, so they're meant for loading down. And so now I'm going to go ahead and grab the Badlands jack and put this thing up in the air so you guys can see exactly what it's meant for. Since this is probably a very likely scenario for 10% of passport owners, I wanted to show you guys what we're doing here. So we've got a little HRG lift kit hiding on here as well, but got the Badlands out, brought it up all the way off of the ground here, and lots of air underneath of it, and you can see how the bar is flexing. There's a little bit more gap here, and it's a little tighter at the front, and that's to be expected. Part of the deal. So yeah, here you guys go. All right guys, so that was a quick install on the Passport on the rock rails. I think they look really good on here. I'm actually really pleased with the way that they turned out on there. They bolt up really simple. The hardest part of the whole thing is actually just trying to find the bolts on this side, on the driver's side, because of that felt pad. So once you get that sorted out, it's really pretty straightforward from there. And you're going to be in, since those are an M8, you're going to be in that 16 to 18 foot-pound range. You could probably go a touch higher, but I don't recommend it just because I don't want to strip out anything that's inside the chassis already. I'm going to try to maintain and keep these things looking good for a long time, not break them in the process. So you guys got any questions, obviously leave it in the comments below and I'll answer them as soon as I can. All right guys, see ya.